In the last segment, you were asked to complete these four here: 31 phosphorus, 32 sulfur, 35 chlorine, 40 argon. So you should have these Bohr models. Now these two on the bottom, I've left the protons and neutrons out because I don't have a lot of space. Okay, so what I said was that sodium will lose this one electron, and it has to go somewhere. Magnesium will lose 2 electrons. They have to go somewhere. Aluminum loses 3 electrons. Silicon doesn't know what to do. Phosphorus, we have 5 electrons, which means it can either gain 3 or lose 5. So we're going to go with the easiest. It has to do with ionization energies and electron affinities if your course describes that. For us, we're just going to go with what's easier. Well, it's easier to just gain 3. If I gain 3, okay, that's in orange. If I gain 3, I have to gain those 3 from somewhere, okay? They have to come from somewhere, so they'll come from here, here, or here, and the number of electrons that are lost or gained have to equal. Nonetheless, when I gain 3, I have 5 plus 3 more gives us 8 valence electrons. So phosphorus will have 8 valence electrons. And now we have 3 additional electrons. 15 protons plus 18 electrons gives us a 3 minus charge. So what we end up with is phosphorus with 8 valence electrons with a negative 3 charge. Sulfur has 6, it wants 8, so it's going to gain 2. Okay, it's going to gain 2 electrons. 6 plus 2 gives us 8 on the outside. And we'll have a minus 2 charge. Chlorine has 7, it wants 1 more. 7 plus 1 gives us 8, so this is going to gain 1 electron. Chlorine will then have 8, and our charge is negative 1. And then argon already has 8. Therefore, it's already happy. It's not going to do anything. Okay? So this is why I like Bohr models, so that you can see what you have underneath, and then the Lewis structures just allow you to write it quicker. Okay? Elements will tend to want to gain or lose to get 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. This one already has it. Now notice just real quick that there are a few exceptions. Okay? Helium can't get 8. It only has 2 to start with. So 2 is like 8. Lithium can't have 8 because it only starts with 3. Hydrogen can't have 8 because it only starts with 1. But these will have 1 valence electron, which tells us that what is underneath is just as desirable. Okay, so let's go to the next page in our notes. Ions are charged particles. Okay, we talked about that before. Ions are charged particles. Okay, so if we lose, we get positive, positive, positive charge. Okay? And these are called cations. All right? If we gain, we get negative charge. Okay? Negative charge. These are called anions. Okay? So cations and anions are called ions. And we get that through the gain or loss of electrons. And that happens in an attempt to achieve the octet rule. Okay? All right. So let's try some examples. Sodium. Okay? Valence shell is n equals 3. How many valence electrons are there? There is 1. Are electrons going to be gained or lost? We're going to lose that 1, and we get 8 underneath with a positive 1 charge. Okay? Okay, so we have 11. We're going to get rid of 1. 11 minus 1 is 10. That means 10 is in group 8. That tells us we have 8 valence electrons, and that means that sodium will want to be like neon. Okay, it wants to be like neon. Which noble gas has the same number of electrons? Neon. Okay, you can do this for everything that we have on the other page, so I'm going to come to another group here. Let's go with calcium. Calcium is in N equals 4, and we have 2 valence electrons. Okay, so calcium, Ca, 2 valence electrons. We can either gain 6 or lose 2. So the easier thing to do is to lose 2. Then we have 8 underneath, and we get a plus 2 charge. Okay? Make sure you're keeping track of what we're doing. We start with 20, we lose 2, minus 1, minus 2. Calcium then becomes like argon. Okay? It becomes like argon. It doesn't become argon because it has a different number of protons, but the electrons are like argon. This is called isoelectronic. Okay? All right, let's choose bromine. Bromine is in group 7, so it has 7 valence electrons. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so now that is going to want to gain 1 electron. In order to gain the electron, it has to come from somewhere. It doesn't just fall out of the sky. So it's going to pick it up from the sodium, or it's going to pick it up from the calcium, which is where we're going next. So when that happens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm going to put the gained electron in brown so you can see the difference. And now my charge is a minus 1. Okay? So I started with 35, I gained 1, so I became like krypton. Started with 35 electrons, ended with 36, so I became like krypton. Okay? All right, so I'm going to give you a couple more examples, and then I want you to pause and finish before we move on. Okay, so I want you to take iodine, and I want you to take aluminum. All right, give the symbol and charge for an atom that has 35 protons and 36 electrons. All right, so 35 protons is bromine. 36 electrons means we have 1 extra one. So we end up with Br minus 1. 35 pluses, 36 negatives gives us a negative 1 charge. Okay? Give the symbol and charge for an atom that has 30 protons and 28 electrons. So 30 would be zinc. 30 pluses, 28 minuses gives us a plus 2 charge. Okay? Why does calcium form a plus 2 ion? It forms a plus 2 ion so that it can have electrons like argon, or 8 in the valence shell. Okay, so now I'd like for you to finish these. I want you to continue to pause and practice, as always, at least 10 repetitions per topic. Don't move on until you've done that.